All right, we're going to talk about section 13.1, and we're going to talk about RNA, how it's different from DNA. As we learned in chapter 12, DNA is the genetic material of our cells, and the sequence of nucleotide bases in the DNA is in some sort of code. So in order for that code to work, the cell must be able to understand it. So what do these bases code for, and what is the cell's decoding system for this genetic code? Part of the decoding system involves RNA. RNA is a nucleic acid just like DNA, but there are three important differences between RNA and DNA. So the three differences is the sugar in RNA is called ribose instead of deoxyribose. RNA is a single strand, not double-stranded. And RNA contains the base uracil instead of thymine. So we use uracil as a base in RNA. A gene is a piece of DNA that contains the coded instructions that tell our cells how to build a protein. The protein then does the cell jobs. Maybe it's an enzyme, maybe it's a protein that makes our eyes blue, or something like that. But the gene is a piece of DNA that contains that coded instructions. The first step to decode this genetic instruction is to copy part of the base sequence from DNA into RNA. And RNA, like DNA, is a nucleic acid that is made of a large chain of nucleotides. The RNA then leaves the nucleus and uses that base sequence it copied from the DNA to direct the making of the proteins. So first we need to copy the DNA into RNA, and then the RNA makes the proteins. Each nucleotide in DNA and RNA is made up of a 5-carbon sugar, a phosphate group, and a nitrogen-containing base. But again, there are three important differences between RNA and DNA. RNA contains the ribose sugar, RNA is single-stranded, and RNA contains uracil. So we need some different chemical differences so that enzymes in the cell can easily tell the DNA and RNA apart. The roles played by DNA and RNA are similar to a master plan and a blueprint used by builders. The master plan has all the information needed to construct a building, but builders never bring the valuable master plan to the building site because at the building site it might get damaged or lost. So instead they get inexpensive disposable copies called blueprints. This is similar to the DNA and the RNA, where the DNA is the master plan and the RNA is the blueprint. We do this so that way the DNA molecule can stay safely in the nucleus, while the RNA molecule can go out to the ribosomes where the proteins are actually built. So we need to keep that DNA safe in the nucleus, just like we keep the master plan safe at the main office. An RNA molecule is a disposable copy of a single gene, just a piece or a segment of the DNA. RNA has many different jobs, and we're going to talk about those, but mostly RNA is involved in making proteins, that protein synthesis. So if you recall that proteins are made of amino acids in long chains, and the RNA molecules are specialized to different aspects of this assembly of the amino acid chain. There are three main types of RNA. There's what's called messenger RNA, and we abbreviate that mRNA. There's ribosomal RNA, which we abbreviate rRNA, and then there's transfer RNA, which we abbreviate tRNA. Most genes, those segments of DNA, contain the instructions for making amino acids into proteins. So the RNA molecules that carry these instructions are known as mRNA or messenger RNA. They carry the information, the message from DNA to the other parts of the cell. Ribosomal RNA is the type of RNA that makes up the ribosome. Proteins are made in the ribosomes, the small organelles. They look like little teeny tiny dots in the cytoplasm. That's all they look like. But these teeny tiny dots are actually composed of two subunits of pieces of ribosomal RNA, the rRNA, and also some protein. But mainly they're made of ribosomal RNA. When a protein is being actually built in the ribosome, the transfer RNA or the tRNA molecule brings an amino acid to the ribosome as directed by the coded message in the mRNA. And we'll talk a lot more about that when we talk about how the actual proteins are made. But this is what the tRNA looks like, whereas this is the amino acid group that brings together and we make long chains of amino acids to make a protein. Transcription is the word we use to describe the making of RNA, where pieces of DNA serve as the template to make complementary RNA molecules. It's very similar to the way that we make a copy of the DNA, where each half of the DNA is a template for the other half. Here, half of the DNA is made as the template for the complementary RNA, where we know that A goes with T, or an RNA that's a U, and C goes with G. Making RNA occurs during transcription. Transcription, we're copying the DNA segment, and it's a template to produce the complementary RNA segment. The base sequences of the RNA complement the base sequences of the DNA. A with T, C with G, or U for uracil in RNA. In prokaryotes, remember those are bacteria, RNA synthesis, the making of RNA, and the making of proteins both happen in the cytoplasm. But in eukaryotes, those are the kinds of cells that you have with a nucleus, the RNA is produced in the nucleus, because that's where we keep the DNA, and then the RNA moves out to the cytoplasm to make the proteins. So we'll focus on how we make RNA in eukaryotic cells. Transcription requires an enzyme, the enzyme known as RNA polymerase. It's similar to DNA polymerase, the enzyme that we use to make a copy of the DNA. It binds to the DNA during transcription. It separates the DNA strands. It unzips the DNA and separates the two strands. And then the polymerase uses one of the strands of DNA as a template and assembles nucleotides according to the basis order, A with U, C with G, to make a complementary strand of the RNA. So here we see the strand of the DNA. The RNA polymerase unzips the two halves of the DNA strand and begins reading the base sequence one letter at a time, one base at a time, and adding on RNA molecules according to the complementary rules. And those complementary rules are A with U and C with G. Okay. The RNA polymerase binds only to promoters. Those are specific regions of DNA that have a specialized base sequence. The promoter is like the start signal in the DNA molecule that tells the RNA polymerase exactly when to begin. And there are similar signals on the DNA that are the stop signals at the end of a gene. So we have promoters and we have stop segments that separate one for making one gene or one piece of the DNA. The RNA is sometimes edited after it's made, and bits and pieces of them are cut out before they can be put into action. The portions that are cut out and discarded are called introns, and the remaining pieces are known as exons. And the exons get spliced back together to form the final mRNA. And this happens to the mRNA while it's still in the nucleus and before it goes out to the cytoplasm. We don't really know why cells make a large piece of RNA and then cut out parts and throw parts of it away. But they do know that some of the messenger RNA molecules are cut and spliced in different ways in different tissues, depending on what tissue they're in. For example, one gene could produce several different forms of RNA depending on what tissue it's in. If it's in a heart tissue versus the stomach tissue. These introns, the part that's discarded, and the exons, the part that we keep, can also play a role in evolution, making it possible for a small change in our DNA to have a dramatic effect on how the genes affect our cells and their functions. And we really don't know exactly how all that works yet.